This is the Lymow One robot mower, and it is easily the coolest robot mower I have ever seen. They call it boundary free and can handle any terrain, so I'm going to put that to the test with two things that have taken out every robot mower I've ever put here in the backyard: steep slopes, thick grass. The big thing that really caught my eye with the Lymow One is the dual rotary blade system and these tracked treads. Let's see if all the hype really holds up. What's going on, everybody? Chuck here, and I hope you are having a fantastic day today. Before I continue on with the review of the Lymow One, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you don't do it now, do it before you click off the video, because it really does mean a lot. Let's get back into the review. A quick backstory: Lymow launched the One just over a year ago on Kickstarter, and it raised over $7 million. That's unheard of for any sort of robot lawnmower. It's fully wireless, meaning it's boundary free. It uses RTK and VSLAM navigation and can mow up to half an acre per charge. But enough of the specs, because to be completely honest, a lot of robot mowers, the specs all kind of are pretty similar. So let's talk about what makes the Lymow One stand out. Most robot mowers have these little, essentially razor blades that spin around and kind of just whip at the grass. But once you get to tall or dense, thick grass, they're going to choke out and they're not going to be able to properly spin around enough to cut anything. The Lymow is built differently. As you can see, it's got two real rotary blades, like a legit mower, and these spin at upwards of 6,000 RPM. Now you can adjust how fast the blades spin inside the app, but that means you're actually cutting and mulching and not just trimming. Now there also is a built-in fan that blows air at 27 miles an hour, which prevents clumping underneath the deck, and it has side discharge here, so everything blows out the side and doesn't get caught underneath here like a real mower. That's pretty cool. Before I let the Lymow go ahead and start doing what it's meant to do, mow the grass, I have not mowed my backyard here in a couple weeks, but I've not really had to. As I mentioned, I've had other robot mowers, and most recently I've used one that I really liked. But in the last couple years, since I initially started using that lawnmower, Bermuda, if you've dealt with it before, it likes to spread and it can get very dense and very thick. And certain areas of my backyard get denser and thicker than others. And in those areas, my old robot lawnmower just basically stopped mowing it. It couldn't, the little blades couldn't get through. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Lymow handles those areas. And a lot of that is right here in the middle of the backyard. On this slope here, most of the other robot mowers I've put have done okay, but in certain condition it actually struggles, and in certain areas it struggles most, especially here by the deck, where it is actually not just going uphill, it slopes down a little bit or slopes in a little bit. So a lot of times here, my other robot mowers will just basically slide down the hill towards the slide. So I'm interested to see how those the tracked treads on the Lymow handle this kind of slope. And not just handle that slope, cut well while handling the slope. Because it's one thing to handle a slope and be able to go up and down it with ease. The other thing is cutting at the exact same time and maintaining the same cut quality as it would back here on flatter areas. Enough of me yakking about what my yard has in store for the Lymow. Let's go ahead and get it mowing. And if you notice anything flying around the yard, aphid season this year is nuts.
Attention, lawnmower starting now.
I got a little nervous that I was going to hit the camera, because that's the second take. The first take, it went that way. And so I'm like, just left the camera there, and then this time it came towards the camera. Can you hear that? It's got some noise, I'll say that. So it comes with the mulching system set up out of the box, or at least mine did. I don't know if that's all the time. So I was noticing there was like, I could feel the wind blowing, but I couldn't see the, I was like, I can't see anything coming out. What's going on here? And so you can see these clippings here. So it's kind of just, you know, mulching. But because I left the grass so long, you know, it, even with a regular mower, you know, if your grass is too long, you go over it, you're going to leave clippings. So it definitely left clippings. Reinstalled, or not reinstalled, I just installed the, so I took off the mulching system, put on the discharge system. I don't know if you can see that. It's doing a great job. And now that's going back over this area again. You know, it's side discharging, it's remulching everything, and it's doing a great job. So I'm just gonna let it mow. Backing up just fine up the hill. The other mowers always struggled with that. And it's handling turning on that hill really well. I mean, obviously it's not at the furthest part of the hill. It's on a shallower hill, but I mean, it's just doing its turn. The other robot mowers, you know, it's like a 10-point turn. It would slide a little bit, and it's just going through it just fine. I'm gonna test its obstacle avoidance by sitting here with the camera. There's my leg. It is. Doing great. I have used several robot mowers here on the backyard, and generally speaking, they were fine until this year, where the Bermuda is sort of was at its peak condition. It was thick and it was dense. And once it got to thick and dense areas, the little whippy razor blades couldn't keep up, and the mower would become clogged, and it would just sort of pass over those areas and cut areas that just needed trimmed. Now, putting the Lymow One to work for its very first mow, I toned down the RPMs from 6,000 at the highest to 4,000, and it did a really good job. Now it did, you can hear it when it hit those really thick patches where you could hear it go, you know, kind of make that, this is a thick spot of the lawn, and then be fine. But it still cut it, where the other areas didn't. I'm sort of sitting on, or laying on one of these thick, dense areas right here, and it cut it, and it did a really good job at 4,000 RPM. So I imagine if I put it at 6,000 RPM, it would have had no problem just slicing through this grass and actually cutting and mulching. So I am really impressed at what it did here on this thick, dense Bermuda. Now this is where things get fun. These tank tracks right here. Instead of traditional wheels and caster wheels that a lot of robot mowers seem to use, Lymow installed these rubber treads, and that helps it handle the most difficult terrain. Now, as I showed earlier, my backyard slope, I don't know what it is, but I know every other robot mower that I've used has at one time or another struggled. Whether it's trying to turn and maneuver on the hill, if it's mowing at like a 45-degree angle or something like that, it tends to lose grip, slip out of place, get stuck, and it's been a mess to where many times I've had to babysit it or go rescue it. If I've left town and then I come and I find my mower is just sort of stuck in an area because it couldn't figure out how to mow it. As you can watch from the footage, the Lymow had no problems. The first initial mow wasn't going to be straight up and down. I wanted to mow at an angle to see how it can handle that turn, and it did absolutely fantastic. It's rated for 45-degree slopes. I don't know if mine's a 45-degree slope. I don't think it is, but it absolutely handled it with precision. So I know I can just sort of set this thing to mow. I can go on vacation, go on my work trips, or just enjoy time in the house, and it will not get impacted at all. And the tracks also help it go over up to 2-inch obstacles, roots, stones, and those kind of things. I don't have a lot of that here in the backyard to show you, but just the fact that it can handle steep slopes, that's what I'm all about. The navigation is pretty solid too. It uses this combo of RTK, GPS, and VSLAM, which basically means it keeps its bearings even when GPS drops, like near trees or fences. The pathing is clean. You can actually see the stripes forming as it works. And through the app, you can set zones, schedule cuts, even tweak the pattern or stripe angle. It's simple and hasn't disconnected on me once, which I appreciate. I do intend for a pun here. This is built like a tank. I mean, listen to this. Solid, solid, solid. It is built solid. It is built to go through any situation you can throw at it. It is also IPX6 waterproof, so you can clean this thing off with a hose. I mean, this thing is just built to last, which, I mean, at this price point, I mean, that's kind of what I would expect. But I mean, and it's also heavy. But, I mean, I am really impressed with the overall quality and the blades under here. I was expecting when they said, oh, it's got real rotary blades. It's like, okay, they're probably cheap plastic or really cheap thin aluminum or steel or whatever. No, they are, for their size, they are legit and also high quality. So I'm really impressed with the level of quality in the Lymow One. I'm sure you can hear that. So overall, what are my final thoughts on the Lymow One? It is legit. Now, I've had it cut my lawn a couple of times now, and I mean, it handles my backyard, which, like I said, unlike other robot mowers that I have used over the last few seasons, this is the only one that I feel comfortable or confident that it will always get the job done and give my lawn a nice cut while handling the unique terrain of my backyard. I guess the best way to say this is that the Lymow One is the first robot mower that I've ever used that feels like it's meant for real lawns, not pristine golf course type lawns. And the dual rotary blades helps with that because it feels like you're getting a true lawnmower cut. And the tracks mean that you don't have to worry about it getting stuck on slopes or in mud. So that's it for my review of the Lymow One robot lawnmower. As I said, it's a beast. I'm so excited to have this in my backyard because it's one of those machines, you get these machines, you get these things you just feel confident using. And I feel confident about the Lymow One. So comment down below, what do you think? What are your opinions of the Lymow One? Is it something you would be interested in? If so, I'm gonna put a link down below for you to go ahead and check it out. I wanna thank Lymow for sending me the unit. Look at it. It just goes up and down the hill. No problems. I have no complaints about it thus far. So comment down below what your opinions are. And I'll see you all later. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And God bless.